Sometimes it's the order of operations that if I
Screw us up.
yeah, because if I'm trying to remember how. Oh,
Oh, look, it's telling you how to click on buttons.
let me just pretend you didn't see this. Like I said, order of operations, Paul, throughout. Depending on if XSplit opens before Stream Deck does, you got to have XSplit open, I think, before Stream Deck fires, and then it works correctly. But if you do it the other way, then sometimes it just doesn't find the software. Just the yep.
Everything we do is so tenuous and pointless.
Mm-hmm. But if you need something that is good software, Paul Thurrott, you should definitely check out Fortra's Alert Logic, because Alert Logic offers the most comprehensive managed detection and response coverage for public clouds, software as a service, on-premises, and hybrid environments. To learn more about Alert Logic, head on over to alertlogic.com. Links in the description, which may be north, south, east, or west on your display.
Brad, there was a huge train crash right next to my house yesterday.
I didn't know you lived in Ohio. Go on.
No, this one proceeded normally without any radioactivity or whatever it is that's destroying your water.
It explains the itching.
I don't know the complete details, but we were driving home from our storage container, and you could see well down the road, like they were blocking police cars everywhere. And there was a train just sitting in the cross thing, and crossing the street, and it was extended to the horizon in one direction. We later found out that what had happened was a tractor-trailer truck hit a pickup truck or something, like T-boning it, and then pushing it partially onto the tracks. And then the thing went down, and the train came in, and the train just went right through it. Train's fine, tracks are fine, no one got hurt. But it shut down the intersection for a little while, And it's Pennsylvania, so, everyone here handled it great.
So this is very similar to an experience I also had yesterday, Paul Thurrott.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I opened a Word document that I needed to print.
Okay. I'm going
to hit print.
Assume that this is going to come true. Okay, yep.
And the Brother printer that we have that is a great printer. It's a laser printer. It was inexpensive. It has worked flawlessly.
Okay.
My wife is standing next to it. You can hear it spool up, and then it just doesn't print. Little error shows up in Windows. Says, we could not print this document. I said, Open the same document on my iPhone, hit print, and it printed. This is also a train wreck. Trying to print continues to be.
Huh. You would not think that printing is something an iPhone would do better than a PC.
Oh, it does it flawlessly. It does it perfect
That's
every
great.
time. It's so much so that I know that if I hit print on the thing and it errors out, because the thing is 8 out of 10 times it prints fine. The PC will print fine. I printed stuff for my daughter to color, printed music for her to sing. Not an issue. This document wouldn't print. 8 out of 10 times open on the phone, because I've done this before. Go to OneDrive, open Word, the little thing. So it's from Word.
Sure.
Prints just fine. This is how I lose it, Paul.
Sometimes I think the legacy technology in Windows is the Achilles heel of the whole thing.
You think? Yeah.
Probably not a unique thought.
No. But I don't know. Microsoft announced another 10-year deal with carrier EE.
With EE.
What?
With a company called EE.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called EE.
There's only one company anyone cares about there being an agreement with, and I think we all agree it's never going to happen. So
right. It's
at this point, you and I are looking out for a 10-year deal with Microsoft. I mean,
yeah.
Who's left?
I know.
I think companies are being created right now just so they can be part of a press release where they sign a 10-year deal with Microsoft.
Probably. There's somebody out there who's thinking like, man, we could be an upstart.
How could we get in the news really easily?
Get a 10-year Call of Duty deal.
Mm-hmm.
Which season 3 drops Wednesday? Tomorrow. tomorrow.
Yeah, I might have to take a look. I have not played Call of Duty in a long time.
Wow.
I know. But I got to find out if this map thing is true I sent you about the I can't remember the name of it now, but that classic map from the original
Yeah, I don't know if I
Modern
saw that
Warfare
one
with
in
the
the
house on the
announcement or
top of
not.
the hill, you know.
I know. Yeah.
That was when I played that game through on whatever what's the hardest skill level called? The single player version. I mean,
heroic. It's not veteran.
no, veteran. I think it is veteran.
Is it veteran?
Well, whatever it's called. That was the level I got stuck on forever. Like I had to leave it and walk away for a couple weeks because you go in the game you have to protect people in the house from all sides from attacks, and if you get through that, you then have to make your way down the hill, and there's a helicopter comes and gets you. But guys pop up out of the grass and behind trees and stuff, and I will never forget this part of the game as long as I live because it took me so long. I finally did do it, but it was just horrific. Anyway, it's a great multiplayer level.
Yeah.
Classic.
There's something else. Something else. I cannot remember what
Was
it
it that Sony has spent the past 15 years describing their competitors and patents as the inferior other consoles in the market? Did you see this little story?
No.
Yeah, so you're actually technically not allowed to do marketing and patents, but Sony has done it repeatedly, and it came up recently. You know, they got some video, console patent, whatever it is. And someone kind of pointed it out, and Florian Mueller, the guy from Foss Patents, was like, "Oh, no, they've been doing this for over 10 years. This is, you can find." And he cited, 20 examples of it. They never name Nintendo or Microsoft. They refer to them as their inferior competitors or their inferior competitors' products. And you actually can't do that in a patent, and they've been doing it for a long time, which again begs the question why any governmental agency of the United States would protect a belligerent, dominant party from Japan. But this is what's been going on for a long time.
What are you going to do? I don't know.
What are you going to do? Stop them.
Yeah, I guess.
Turn it around. Put it in their face. Make them subject to the same level of scrutiny that they would like to see Microsoft be held to. I don't know. Something like that. Ignore them if you're a regulator.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things you could do.
Yeah.
I'm just curious they're not doing any of them.
Well, they could let Microsoft buy Activision, and then that would...
There you go. I mean, that would do it.
I mean, that's potentially the great equalizer, all this. It's like, fine, you know what, you've done all that stuff, here's...
It's hard for anybody. I think it's hard for people, and thus it is hard for companies or regulators or regulatory bodies or governmental agencies or whatever to just come out and be like, we were wrong. It's hard, right? Nobody likes to do that.
I think there's a lot of evidence that says, like this will be fine when it goes through, and I do think it will go through. The problem is that it's still just Microsoft. They're just too big. And it doesn't matter. They could go try to buy a Wrigley pack of gum as an acquisition, and they'd be like, "Well, you're still $1 trillion company. We should go ask Big Licorice if they're okay."
Yeah,
with
but
this.
what does that mean? Name the important market that they dominate. You kind of can't. You have to make stuff up. They're like, well, they own Office productivity software.
The closest one that they do is Office. That is.
But even that, what are we talking about though? Like, I mean, doesn't the existence of all the Apple productivity software, the iCloud stuff, the Google Docs stuff, doesn't just the existence of these things.
I actually think what helps Microsoft the most is that these productivity tools have morphed so far beyond word processing. Like that's not like, because you need to include things honestly like Salesforce, like CRM software, and then you have a whole bunch of other companies that come into play that. Because like a word processor is no longer a business. It is just a thing that's free effectively.
It's kind of weird. It's also, there's no sense of foreclosure really, right? Like you could, as a small business, exist entirely in a non-Microsoft world if you wanted to, very easily.
And many do. That's why Slack had probably any real success is there's companies just like that.
But I think that's the point, right? Like Microsoft doesn't have a stranglehold on it. They may have they may be the biggest by some measures, whatever that might be, revenue per quarter, however you want to, whatever it is, number of users, whatever. But I mean, they don't prevent others from selling their own products and succeeding. I don't. Anyway, and by the way, what does this have to do with video games?
Yeah.
I mean, so what? Even if they do have this dominant position, are we going to suggest that they parlayed their dirty monopoly in word processing to acquire one of the dominant video game companies? I mean, seriously?
The only other
have to
thing
do with anything?
The only other argument that I could see could potentially be made, and this is me playing devil's advocate,
yeah,
devil's advocate or whatever,
mm-hmm.
is that a company, Sony, it could be whoever, could press, and I'm surprised they didn't really do this, if Xbox is actually profitable, because they could come in and say, look, it's not that you're going to dominate gaming, it's that you are using revenue from other business lines to artificially suppress pricing in this category, and that is why you shouldn't be allowed to do this.
Oh, because then I would turn to Sony and say, interesting, you're a multinational, diverse company that sells life insurance in Asia.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you parlaying your profits from life insurance to prop up your video game system? I mean, come on. Sony owns movie companies and music companies and electronics businesses or whatever. They do all kinds of stuff. What are we talking about? This is what modern companies. What is Samsung, other than like some giant cancer? I mean, like, you know, there's all kind. These companies are all very diversified. I mean, honestly, that's kind of a hedge against succumbing to a competitor in a single market or whatever. Yeah. I mean, what businesses should do.
Anyways, I still think they get it done. It's just a matter of how much longer.
Yes, I do too. But the point is, we're dragging this out for no good reason.
Yeah.
You know, Sony being no good reason. Stupid Sony.